Hey there guys, good morning. As always, I hope you're having a good day. To those of you guys who have been with me for a little while, thank you guys for coming back and checking out my content. It really means a lot. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. And to those of you guys who might be just viewing this content for the first time and who have never seen any of my videos before, welcome. It's good to have you guys with us, and I look forward to seeing you guys on future videos. So I'm on my way out to do some rainbow trout fishing this morning. We're gonna get out there in just a minute, but I've been having you guys ask me a lot of questions about what kind of flies I'm using, whether it be in person while I'm out fishing or on Facebook or YouTube. I've gotten a lot of comments over the past week or so asking about what kind of flies I'm using. Are they barbless, sinking or floating, that kind of thing. So I figured it'd be kind of cool just to include a quick segment here at the beginning of the video showing you guys what I'm up to with my flies. I've got all my materials here in front of me. I've got my coffee, so let's take a look. Okay, so for this particular fly, we're gonna be tying a bead head nymph, which is a sinking fly as opposed to a floating fly. So we're gonna be using my favorite hook. This is the Umpqua size 10 C400 BL, and this is a barbless jig style hook. I really like these. If you guys are unfamiliar with these Umpqua hooks, they are superb quality. They are absolutely incredible. I highly recommend checking them out. The hooks themselves are very strong. I've never had any issues with them bending or breaking or anything like that. And these particular hooks I find to be really nice. They come in the black nickel finish, which I really like because they blend in with your fly very nicely. I find that some of those older, more wise trout that might have a hard time striking your fly, you can usually initiate a strike if your fly looks as legit as possible, which I think these black nickel finish hooks really help you to accomplish. And then I'm going to be putting a gold colored tungsten bead on this particular fly. For this body of water that I was fishing at yesterday, gold really seemed to be the color that was getting these trout excited. So we're going to put that bead on there, and we're going to push it all the way up to the eye of the hook. We will go ahead and clamp that in the vise. Now the next thing we're going to need is our lead wire. So this is 0.025 gauge lead wire, which I find to be just about perfect for this fly. I don't want it to be too heavy because I am going to be fishing it over weed beds, but I do also want it to sink down there. Today we're going to be fishing this fly between 5 and 10 feet of depth, so we do want it to get down rather quickly to where the fish are at, but I don't want to be dragging it through the weeds on the bottom of the lake. So we're going to get a nice little piece of our lead wire here. And you don't need a lot. I'm only going to put probably 4 wraps on this particular fly because, like I said, I really don't want to be hanging up in the weeds too much, but I do want it to have a little bit of weight behind it. 4 wraps should be just about perfect, in addition to the tungsten bead and the copper wire that we're going to put on there. And also these jig style fly hooks are meant to sink, so you are going to get a little weight out of that you wouldn't normally get with like a floating fly hook. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is I've got my black thread. This is just your standard issue black thread you get in the fly tying section at any local fly shop, or Sportsman's Warehouse, Cabela's, Bass Pro, that kind of thing. So we're going to start that down here, down at the base of the shank, and just kind of work it up. Cut that tag end off there, and then we're gonna just start making wraps and just kind of cover this shank. And then we're gonna build up a thread dam right here behind the lead. And then we're gonna work our way forward and cover that lead up so it's not exposed. At this point, once you've got that thread kind of established on the shank of the hook, you can start making nice tight wraps to get that real secure on there. And then what you want to do is make a nice taper from the bead down towards the tail of this fly, so it's got just that real nice kind of tapered shape to it. Just like that. Now the next thing we're going to need is some of these black goose biots, so we're going to go ahead and rip 2 of those off, and that's what we're going to use to form the tail on this fly. So get those goose biots off there. We're going to trim that little end off, and then you're going to take one of them and flip it over so they point opposite directions. Okay, once you've got both of those off, let me put my hand there so you can kind of see. Once you've got both of those goose biots off, turn them back to back so they're facing opposite of each other. Get them lined up, and then you're going to put that about midway up the shank of the fly, make a couple loose wraps, Make sure that they are correctly lined up, and then you can go ahead and start making some nice tight wraps and get those things kind of tied in. And that's going to form the tail of the fly. And then as you work your way back towards the curve of the hook, make a nice tight wrap, and that's going to spread those goose biots apart just like that. Then go ahead and work your way back up towards the bead. Next thing we're going to do is take a nice little section of copper wire. I'm going to use I'll cut probably 6 to 8 inches just so I've got enough to work with. We're going to go ahead and tie that in right behind the bead, and make sure you cover up that end. You don't want that sharp end sticking out because you can cut your thread, cut your other materials. So then go ahead, work your way back towards the tail of the fly, make a nice tight wrap to make sure it's secured, and then bring your thread all the way back up towards the front of the bead. Then we're going to go ahead and take this and make nice tight wraps ascending towards the bead of the fly, and we're probably going to go 2/3 of the way. Just get them nice and tight together. Take your time, make sure it looks good. Do one more wrap just like that, and then we're going to bring our thread over and tie that in nice and tight all the way up to the bead. Go ahead, kind of rip that last little piece of copper off of there, and make sure with a couple more wraps that copper is nice and tight. Now the next thing after you work that back forward towards the bead is we're going to take some of this shimmer that I have here. You don't need a lot, only a couple inches to work with. I'll cut off probably about 2 inches there. I'm going to go ahead and put this right up to the bead, maybe a little bit over the bead, make a couple loose wraps, and then you can kind of pull that back to where you want it. And we'll go ahead and tie that in to the fly. Just like that. And we're going to work the thread all the way back to that very first turn of copper that we have there. And then I'll bring the thread back forward. And the last material that we're going to add to this, a lot of people like to do peacock herl as if you're tying a copper john. I'm not going to use peacock herl because it's kind of fragile. Some of the bigger trout that take this nice and deep in their throat, I find that their teeth cut that peacock herl, and you just kind of waste the material and it ruins your fly while you're out on the water. So I don't like doing peacock herl on this, and I'm also not going to do any wings. I want it to just be real simple, nice tapered shape with the bead, and that's what's really going to attract these fish. So rather than the peacock herl for the nice bushy thorax that a lot of people like to do, I'm going to be using some of this leech yarn, and this is just like a gray desert kind of khaki color. You don't need a lot of it. I'm probably only going to cut off 4 to 6 inches just so I don't waste anything. And then I am going to tie that in on the top, and it's important to make sure that that shimmer, that glossy shimmer that we put on there, is still sticking out the back. You don't want to do anything with that just yet. So we're going to go ahead, tie that in, and then I'm going to pull this excess stuff over and just kind of tie that in just like that. And then work all the way back towards the first turn of copper, and then bring this back forward. Then what we're going to do is go ahead and pull this nice and tight so we don't have all those fuzzies sticking off everywhere, and then we're going to start wrapping forward. I really like doing this particular pattern. I find that the trout really like it, and it works really well. So once you have that nice and bushy, I'm going to make one more little wrap here, just like that. I'm going to bring my thread over and kind of capture that material right behind the bead. And you want to be real careful. Keep that thread nice and tight. Make a couple real good tight wraps just like that. I'm not going to fully cut this off yet because I don't have it fully secured, but I am just going to snip it so I can get the thread around there. Then you're going to bring this gloss over and capture that. And I like to go around 2 times. I don't like to put a lot of excess thread on the flies because I think it looks kind of cheesy. I like as little material as possible. And then the last step that we're going to do here with the thread is I'm going to go ahead and put my whip finish on to get that stuff secured down nice and tight so I can finish this fly up. I'm going to do probably 4 wraps for that whip finish. Let's make sure we don't capture that. All right, so we're gonna pull that nice and tight, and then we should be good to go ahead and clip it, but I'm not gonna clip it all the way at the base of the thread just yet. I'm gonna leave a little excess kind of hanging off there while I work on this. So first thing we're gonna do is clip off the tag end of that shimmer, and then we're gonna clip off the excess yarn sticking out the front from the leech material. Okay, and then take a minute, just get that leech material trimmed up, because you're gonna have a lot of stuff kind of sticking off the front. It's gonna look kind of trashy. So clean that up a little bit. Now that I have all that cleaned up and I know that it's gonna hold itself in there, now I'll actually clip the tag end of that thread all the way at the base. And then the last step that we're gonna do here is I'm gonna take some of this hardhead UV drying cement. This stuff is really, really awesome. Super quick drying, almost immediate when you shine a UV flashlight on it. So it's really, really nice for flies like this that you want to take out and use immediately after tying. So we're gonna put a nice drop on top of the thread where we did that whip finish, and then I'm just gonna kind of use the tip of this and work it back over the shimmer there all the way across the back of this fly. And then I also like to put just a little drop on the tail, and that way if a trout grabs it from the rear end, you don't lose those goose biots that are kind of making up the tail of the fly. Then what you're gonna do is take your UV light, we'll shine it on there, hold it on there for just a minute, work your way around to make sure that you cover all the areas. And that's it. Nice and dry. And that is how I make my beadhead nymphs, and that's what we're going to use today. This is the exact fly that I was using the other day, the past 2 days actually, and it absolutely just slayed the rainbow trout on this lake that we're going to be going to. So now you guys know what hook I use, you know that I use barbless, and you know how I tie the fly, so you can do it yourself if you're interested in using it. So let's take it out to the water and see how this thing works. I'll see you guys there. I'm out on the water now. I'm cruising over to the spot that I was at yesterday where I had really good luck. While I'm on my way over there, I think I'm gonna go ahead and tie that fly on. I also need to put some more tippet on. My leader's getting a little bit short, so I've got some of the Sportsman's Warehouse Lost Creek 2X fluorocarbon. I find that this is actually a really nice tippet material. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, which I find really convenient. I actually really like that, so I'm gonna tie on another couple feet of this and get that fly on. And I think I'm gonna put probably about 2 feet of tippet on the end of my leader line. That should be just enough to give me about an 8-foot total leader, which is just about the perfect amount that I like when I'm fishing these heavier beadhead nymphs. Usually when I'm doing a tippet to leader, I'll do a nice double loop surgeon's knot. It usually works pretty well for me. When you start getting to heavier gauge line, you can start having issues with that double surgeons. But for this lighter stuff, it's a really solid knot. I never have any issues with it. And it's quick and easy to tie, which is always going to be a positive. I'm a big fan of the traditional, just classic old fisherman's knot. And I'll usually do 5 wraps on the lighter line like this. If I'm doing heavier line, I'll typically do 6 or 7, and I'll put it through the eye of the hook twice just to make sure it's got a nice sturdy hold. A lot of people like doing Palomar knots or various other knots, but I find that this one is a timeless classic and it still holds true and works well for me. I think I'm gonna work my way over probably about 30 feet out that direction. We're still a little bit shallow here, and I want to find where this nice rocky bottom extending out from the shore meets the weed line that runs along right over here. That's where I was fishing it yesterday, and I was finding some really nice fish hanging out along that weed line. I think we're probably gonna be about there. Throw the motor in reverse to get me stopped, have a sip of coffee, and we'll start fishing. All right, there's that little gold beadhead barbless nymph that we tied this morning. Let's strip some line out and see if we can find some fish. I think we're gonna get onto them pretty good today. So this water that we're gonna be fishing right now to start the day off is gonna be about 5 to 10 feet deep. So what I like to do is I'll get it nice and far out there, right where that transition is that I was talking about. And then I'm just gonna let that sink and get down until it's just above the weeds. I think about 10 seconds is what I was doing yesterday. And then I'll do a couple strips and then just kind of repeat the process of letting it sink down, strip, sink down until I get back to the boat, and then I'll recast. And fish on. Oh, he came off. Let's hope that guy comes back, because that felt like a pretty nice fish. Whoa! Did he just hit the end of my fly line? There he is. Oh, that's a nice fish. He came up and hit the end of my main line when I threw it into the water. That was crazy. Oh, that's a gorgeous trout. Oh, hey, maybe that's a sign that I should play with some top water flies, some dry flies. Oh, that was cool. Holy cow, that's a nice fish. Wow. Man, fighting fish like this on this little 3-weight is just incredible too. If you guys saw that last video I released where I was doing some grayling fishing up north on the Golconda River, that was the first time I actually put this rod to use, but I haven't done any real good lake rainbow trout fishing on this rod yet, and it's incredible. The rod is so sensitive. Fighting these fish is just a pleasure on this rod. It's so much better than using a 7 or an 8 weight where you have so much less feeling. I love it. Check that out. This dude had the remnants of the spinal cord of some small fish that he consumed earlier, so that's kind of cool. See if I can get a photo of this guy real quick before we release him, because that's a pretty nice fish. Well, that didn't work out like I wanted, but it looks like he swam away all right. I hate releasing fish that way, but luckily that one still had enough energy that he just flipped right over and took off back down to the bottom. So I think he's gonna be all right. I'm gonna get back over to this weed bed and see if we can maybe hook into some more of these fish. There's a fish. Oh yeah, that was cool. It does not get any better than that. How convenient that the camera was already rolling. That's a beautiful rainbow trout. This guy's running. Wow. Come here, man. There he goes. Man, why is there always gotta be a bee circling me? I don't like bees. Better not sting me, dude. Get out of here, man. I feel like it's on my head or something. There's one. Oh, that's a nice one. That was quick. As soon as that fly hit the water. Oh, that's a nice fish. He's got some energy. They are all over. One just surfaced. Two just surfaced right there. Oh, he came off. One just surfaced right there, so I cast to him. I'm hoping he'll come back and pick it up. Is he on? There he is. Oh, he came off. I didn't realize he was on. Oh, that was silly. Why did that happen? There we go. Oh man, where are you going? Oh, and I got the bee in my face. Get out of here. This bee cost me one more fish. I'm gonna squish it, and I really don't want to. I am all for protecting the bees, but this dude's about to get squished. Oh, that is such a gorgeous trout. Please stay on. Please don't sting me, Mr. Bee. Please don't do it. Where's that bee? That bee is right back by my net. Get away from my net, dude. I need my net. Oh, this is probably the prettiest one that I've got so far, too. Get in my net, get in my net. Got him. Oh my God. Whoa. Oh no, damn it, that really just happened. This bee is killing me, man. Oh, and he's down in the weeds now. At some point during all that, it looks like the hook actually popped out of his mouth and ended up in the gill plate behind his eyeball. But let's go ahead and get that out. There we go. A darn bee. Man, look at that trout. That is a beautiful rainbow trout. Holy cow. I back in the water before the bee returns. Return of the killer bee. You ready yet, man? You ready? Not yet? It's okay, take your time, bud. Take all the time you need. Bye. There's a nice one. Oh, that dude grabbed it 3 times. I missed the hook set on him twice because he just hit it like a freight train. Totally was not expecting it. And that 3rd time, finally got that hook set. That's a good fish. Man, what a day. Get out of my fly rod, man. I've got my second 8-weight fly rod down there on the side with a big old streamer on. I brought that as a backup just in case, but I have done just fine with this rod so far today. Whoa, man, this guy's running straight for the bottom. That's a heavy fish too. That's a nice trout. Let's see if we can get this guy netted. Awesome. All right, let's get her back in the water. Her belly feels pretty full, so she might actually be pre-spawn. She might still be full of eggs. There she goes, nice and healthy. Go lay those eggs. Hatch some more of these incredible natural rainbow trout. Just had one hit. I missed the hook set. Let's see if he'll take it again. There's one. Whoa, that's a big fish. I knew I felt something, but I wasn't sure if it was weeds or if it was a fish, so I waited a second before setting the hook, and then I started feeling head shakes, so that was cool. Nope, get down, get down. This one wants to come straight out of the water. Woo! All right. So I think that this makes fish number 10. I could be wrong because I haven't really been counting, but 10 fish of this size is pretty excellent, if I do say so myself. This has been a fantastic day. Oh man, get in the net. Come on, man. This one's feisty. Trying not to put too much pressure on this rod. There we go. Oh, what a beautiful trout. There you go, bud. There he goes. There's one. That feels like a good one. Oh yeah. That's the second time that fish hit it. Get back up here, man. He's trying to run me into the weeds. And that's the nice thing about those barbless hooks. You can pop them right out and you don't damage the fish. Oh, come on. Oh, of course, there's the loon now that I have a fish. Man, I don't want to put my hand in the water with that loon next to me. Where'd he go? There he is. You ready, man? That loon's gonna come over here and bite my hand off. Trying to hide the fish from him so he doesn't see it. Oh, here he comes. There you go, buddy. Go, go, go. Don't get caught. There's one. Oh, that's a nice fish. I better get him in before that loon does. There's that loon. Here he comes. Here he comes. Oh, that's a real nice fish. Where's that loon at? Oh, there's the loon. Get over here, man. Get over here. Where's it at? No. Woo. Oh boy, this isn't good. That's not good. Oh, he got it. Did he get it? No. No, 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 no. Come around. Come around. No. Oh, geez. This isn't good. I'm literally playing fetch with this loon right now with a fish. Oh, and it's like the nicest one of the day. Oh, I just almost went in the water. Yeah, that's right. That's my fish. I don't think so. All right. Man, get away from my fish. This thing's literally right next to my boat. This loon really seems to think I'm gonna give him this fish. I'm not giving you the fish, man. Get away. Hey, get away. Shoo. 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 Get out of here. Get out of here. Go. Go. Get out of here. Man, come on. I don't know what to do. I've just got this trout. And look at this bird. Get out of here, dude. I want to return this trout to the water, but this loon is going to nip my hand off here. Keep an eye on him so he doesn't come over here and bite me. God, that's such a pretty trout. Look at the size of that fish. I don't have it. I don't have it anymore. See? I don't have it. Why are you so close to my boat? That bird just doesn't seem to want to leave me alone today. There's one. Finally. Are you kidding me? This fish has hit my fly 7 times and I've missed like 5 hook sets. I don't understand what is happening right now. My hook sets aren't the best, but they're not that bad. Finally, on the 8th hookup. I think I finally got the good hook set on this fish. That's a chunky little guy too. I don't know what it was about me being able to hook up on this fish. I don't know if he was maybe hitting it weird or something, but I just could not get that hook firmly set into his mouth, but I think I got it this time. I guess I shouldn't speak too early until I get him in the net, but you know. Man, that is exhilarating. Eluded me 7 times. He was ready to go. He didn't even need to be revived. How awesome is that? Ooh, that's a nice one. Oh, that's a real nice fish. He's gonna try to throw that hook. I think I got a pretty good set on him though. Get back down there. Ooh, man. Line back in the boat here so I don't get them all wrapped up when I go to net. Man, why is there always got to be a float plane ruining the audio on my videos right when I've got a hog of a fish on too? Wow, that's a big fish. I want to be careful when I get him too close because I don't want to bend this fly rod too much. This is only a 3 weight and this is a pretty large fish. I think, oh, here we go. Oh, come here, come here. I might need to bring a little bit more line in. Wow, power behind this fish. Come on, man. Got him. Yes. That was cool. What a hog of a fish. Let's get that hook out of him real quick. That's a real good size hen. Let's get her back in the water so she can go swim and be free. Maybe we'll catch her again one day. She is definitely pretty. There she goes. Well, I'm on my way back to the boat launch. Here in the near future, you guys can look forward to several videos I have coming out. I'm actually on my way home to work on them now. I've got a review of the Ascend 12T sit on top kayak coming out here soon. It's a partial review, partial modification video, just kind of talking about how I have my kayak rigged up, give you guys some ideas on how you can rig yours up. I've got a review of the T18 ASP water snake trolling motor coming out soon. I know there's a lot of interest from you guys in this trolling motor. One of my most popular videos is actually the install video for the trolling motor, so I know that there's a lot of interest out there. So you guys can look forward to that. It's been a blast out here on the water. As always, thank you guys again so much for supporting the channel, checking out my videos. I hope you guys enjoyed today as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.